with this guitar, we'll have it good. We'll have the life we knew we would. My word is good. Hey there, Delilah, I've got so much left to say. If every simple song I wrote to you would make your breath away, I'd write it all. Even more in love with me you'd fall. We'd have it all. Oh, it's what you do to me. 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 1,000 miles seems pretty far, but they've got planes and trains and cars that walk to you if I'd no other way. Our friends would all make fun of us and we'd just laugh along because we know that none of them have felt this way. Delilah, I can promise you that by the time that we get through, the world will never ever be the same, and you're to blame. Hey there, Delilah, you be good and don't you miss me. 2 more years and you'll be done with school, and I'll be making history like I do. You'll know it's all because of you. We can do whatever we want to. Hey there, Delilah, here's to you. This one's for you. Oh, it's what you do to me. 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 What you do to me. What you do to me. What you do to me.
What did she do to you?
What is this bug?
It's a bug.
There must have been a spy in the room someplace.
And it's the cutest thing of the entire room.
I'm going to sing a song called Lituya Bay. Lituya Bay is a real story about a real people who survived the biggest wave the world has ever seen.
I've researched that.
Do you know about it?
The Lituya Bay tsunami in Canada or something?
It's up in Alaska.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was when it. Well, it's all in the song, but the biggest. We've all seen the Lake Superior waves and the pictures of the lighthouses completely covered and all that. The biggest wave ever recorded in Lake Superior is somewhere around 57 feet.
Wow.
The biggest wave recorded in the Atlantic is somewhere around 140 feet. Just a few years back, the biggest wave in the Pacific was recorded, and it was getting close to 200 feet. The wave that I'm talking about was 1,800 feet.
1,800?
It was caused by a landslide, but the only reason it was able to reach that height was because it climbed up a hill.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a fairly narrow area, deep
Yeah.
but narrow, and the landslide in actually 2 different locations simultaneously. And it's actually kind of, I think of it as ovaries. There was this long tube, which would be the bay. Anyway, and then it goes off to one side, and there's a glacier, and off to the other side there was a glacier. And they both glaciers collapsed in, as well as a huge part of the mountain itself. But the wave kind of went a short distance into the mountains that were on the other side. And then it, that wave, as it sloshed back and forth, sent another wave going down the length of the bay. And that's where people were. And even they were it was much smaller by the time I got to them, but it was still bigger than anything anybody had ever survived before.
And you'd think if you were 1,000 feet above the water, you'd be really safe.
Riding at the crest of a 200-foot wave, convinced I wouldn't live to see the dawn. How does one make sense of the randomness of death or survival despite all the odds? I've made my living on the sea since I was 17, crabbing through the January storms. But I won't forget the day I survived Lituya Bay, and I ain't going back there anymore. I'm a third-generation Alaska fisherman, home in the port of Kodiak. In June of '58, with my 10-year-old son, we crossed the Gulf to fish at Yakutat. We set out to troll for some early season coho, fishing along the southeastern shore. Anchored for the day inside Lituya Bay, but I ain't going back there anymore. Hold on, hold on. Pray for God to save us, hold on. You've never seen a better natural harbor, protected by a 2-mile spit. We drifted inside on an incoming tide, with Sitka spruce blocking out the wind. And in that solitude, on fair weather stood, but what does weather have to do with it at all? It wasn't from the sky that God unleashed his cry, but when the ground shook and the rocks began to fall. Hold on, hold on. Pray for God to save us, hold on. And in that moment the mountainside slipped into the sea, creating a wave the likes of which the world had never seen. It scraped the cliffs and reached a height of 1,800 feet, coming toward us with great speed. 3 boats were in safe harbor, or at least that's what we thought. The first was crushed and the newlyweds inside were forever lost. The second boat rolled over and its 2-man crew was tossed as the wave bore down on us. Hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Pray for God to save us, hold on. I yelled to my son to hold on a line. I tried to pull anchor, but I didn't have the time. Then I tried, God, I tried to reach for my son so I could hold him in my arms and we could leave this world as one. Then drifted, it pitched and it rolled. From my knees I could see the trees as they disappeared below. Then the waters crashed upon us. Everything went dark. When I woke, we were still afloat with my son at my side. Hold on, hold on. Pray for God to save us. Hold on, hold on. Hold on, pray for God to save us. Hold on. Well, I've been at the crest of a 200-foot wave, convinced I wouldn't live to see the dawn. How does one make sense of the randomness of death or survival despite all the odds? I've made my living on the sea since I was 17, crabbing through January storms. But I won't forget the day I survived the Tuya Bay, and I ain't going back there anymore. I ain't going back there anymore.
Was there a whole village there or a whole city?
Nope. Cecil. Must have been Cecil.
All of the lights went on.
Yeah. No, there was nothing there. It was one of those three boats were there for to spend the night, and that was it.
Okay, so there was, okay,
So
but they lost two of them.
yeah, but the second boat, which rolled over, they survived too,
Okay.
and largely because the third boat stayed afloat, so they could rescue the people from the second boat.
Oh, wow.
And,
And they weren't bashed all to pieces?
Apparently
They-
they were able
not
to-
enough anyway.
Wow.
But that all happened at 10 o'clock at night. You know,
Oh, shoot. Was it, so this is in Alaska, it's far enough north, was it light, do we know at the time?
it was June. Yeah, it would have been like,
That helps.
yeah,
Sort of.
I can't hear you. What?
yeah. So, but they nevertheless, everybody was in their cabins when they heard it first before they saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rushed out to find out what the heck it was.
Never experienced anything like that. The closest I came is there was an explosion outside our house one time.
Okay.
When we lived in Bemidji, out of town. And it shook the whole house. We went outside and we hadn't the faintest clue. Turned out a propane tank had blown up over
My-
20
Oh.
miles away from us. But it had shook.
I was going to guess a meteor that you
It
didn't
shook the
see.
entire house.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll be home whenever.
Wow. Our house shook that way one time, but it was because he blew up a big bomb.
Well, he gave the bomb.
Woo-hoo.
When was that? When was Latoya Bay?
1958.
I do not remember off the top of my head.
1958.
No. Just
In June of 58.
Wow.
Anyway, I just think that's a remarkable story.
Uh-huh.
And the part about just pray for God to save us, hold on, that's the one quote they had in the news story I was read from the guy who survived. That's all I had the time to say to my kid. Pray for God to save us. Hold on. So that came from him. What else? What's it? Don't try this one. This is a song written by a large group of people at once. It was at in a songwriting seminar, and Guy Clark was putting on the songwriting seminar. And there was a room full of people, and they decided to write a song right there, and everybody kind of contributed lines, and why don't we try this chord and that chord or something. And they came up with this song, and then totally forgot about it. And years later, one of the people who was at the seminar, tracks down Guy Clark and says, "Where is that song? It's been haunting me ever since we wrote it, but we don't have it anymore." And so Guy Clark tracked it down with somebody else who still had a copy, and he looked at it and played it and says, "Damn, this is good." And he put it on his album.
Cool.
And lots of people have done it since, and I almost never play it because it's just not the kind of thing you play a lot of. So I will try my best. Well, I was passing by a pawn shop in an older part of town when something caught my eye and I just stopped and turned around. I stepped inside and there I spied in the middle of it all was this beat-up old guitar hanging on the wall. "What do you want for that piece of junk?" I asked the old man. He just smiled, took it down, and put it in my hand. He said, "You tell me what it's worth. You're the one who wants it. Tune it up, play a song. Let's just see what haunts it." So I hit a couple chords in that old country way of strumming, and then my fingers turned to lightning. Man, I never heard it coming. It was like I always knew it. I just didn't know where I learned it. It was nothing but the truth, so I just reared back and burned it. All track of time, there was nothing I couldn't pick. Up and down the neck, man, I never missed a lick. The guitar almost played itself. There's nothing I couldn't do. It was getting pretty hard to just tell who was playing who. And when I finally put it down, I couldn't catch my breath. My hands were shaking and I was scared half to death. And then the old man finally got up, said, "Where the hell you been? I've been waiting all these years just for you to stumble in." Then he took down an old dusty case and said, "Go on, pack it up. You don't owe me nothing." And then he said, "Good luck." There was something spooky in his voice, something strange on his face. And when I shut the lid, I saw my name was on the case.
Cool.
I've had a guitar like that once.
Ooh.
Stumbled upon it. My name was on that case, I'm sure.
Did it own you?
I wrote the best song I ever wrote in my life. Well, I had it. I borrowed it for a weekend from a pawn shop.
You borrowed it.
And it was Halloween, and I needed it to. I was at this event, and I needed it to be able to play for a bunch of kids that were coming through the event. Meanwhile, I wrote the best song I ever wrote in my life on it. Brought the guitar back to the pawn shop. Lost the song completely.
Whoa.
Oh, you should have kept it.
Yeah, if I would have kept the guitar, I probably would know the song. Dutchman's not the kind of man. Nope, I'm not gonna do it there.
That'll happen.
The Dutchman's not the kind of man keeps his thumb jammed in the dam that holds his dreams in. That's a secret only Margaret knows. Amsterdam is golden in the morning. Margaret brings him breakfast. She believes him. He thinks the tulips bloom beneath the snow. He's mad as he can be, but Margaret only sees that sometimes. Sometimes she sees her unborn children in his eyes. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuider Zee. Long ago I used to be a young man. Dear Margaret remembers that for me. The winter whirls the windmills round. She wraps his muffler tighter as they sit in the kitchen. Some tea with whiskey keeps away the dew. Sees her for a moment, calls her name. She makes a bed up singing some old love song. A song he learned when it was very new. He hums a line or two. They sing together in the dark. The Dutchman falls asleep. Margaret blows the candle out. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuider Zee. Long ago I used to be a young man. Dear Margaret remembers that for me. Dutchman still wears wooden shoes. His hat and coat are patched with love that Margaret sews there. Sometimes he thinks he's still in Rotterdam. He watches tugboats in canals and calls out to them when he thinks he knows the captain. Till Margaret comes and takes him home again, through unforgiving streets that trip him. Though she holds his arm, sometimes he thinks that he's alone and calls her name. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuider Zee. Long ago I used to be a young man. Dear Margaret remembers that for me. Dear Margaret, I screwed that up for me. Yes, it did. Dear Margaret remembers that for me. This is where you need fingernails. Well, I don't know. Everybody wants to go to bed, don't they?
I don't want to go to bed tonight, so I'll catch it if I don't eventually.
There's like Pancho and Lefty, the night they drove old Dixie down, Night Rider's Lament, Wild Mountain Thyme, Still a Gorilla.
What about the maple syrup, man?
Oh, that's better when Neil's around.
Yeah, I think you need a choir for that.
Yeah, all by myself, it doesn't have the effect. Ba-dum. I don't know. It's familiar.
We're playing games over here?
Footsie games.
It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. You don't know by now. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. It don't matter anyhow. When the rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I've been traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. Well, it ain't no use in turning on your light, babe. That light I never know. Well, it ain't no use in turning on your light, babe. I'm on the dark side of the road. Still, I wish there was something you could do or say. Try and make me change my mind and stay. Well, you never did too much talking anyway. Don't think twice, it's alright. You're supposed to sing along to some of these stuff, you know. Well, it ain't no use in calling out my name, gal, like you never done before. Well, it ain't no use in calling out my name, gal. I can't hear you anymore. I'm a thinking and a wondering all the way down the road. I once loved a woman, a child I am told. Well, I gave her my heart, but she wanted my soul. Don't think twice, it's alright. So I'm walking down that long, lonesome road, babe. Where I'm bound, I can't tell. Goodbye is too good a word, gal. So I'll just say fare thee well. I ain't saying you treated me unkind. You could have done better, but I don't mind. You just kind of wasted my precious time. Don't think twice, it's alright. Ooh, 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 ooh. Now don't think twice, it's alright.
Ta-da.
Anybody want to try those like apple things? The pie cups.
Let's let him do another song or two.
Okay.
Oh, you should grab some pie and eat it.
Yeah,
Joe,
but
I'll still sing.
You're gonna serve?
There you go.
Bring a little plate out for everyone.
Joe, I don't know if you take requests, but I feel like you might be the kind of guy who do Puff the Magic Dragon.
Do what?
Puff the Magic Dragon?
Magic
You do that?
Dragon.
It's I do it on ukulele, but I haven't done it in such a
Only
long
if we
time.
Can only if we can have you over to like 10.
10?
Yes.
Maybe 9. Maybe.
For why? Start these.
How to choose a song.
I know it's not easy. Actually, I wasn't thinking I was going to be playing tonight, so I didn't think about it ahead of time. It's better to think about these things ahead of time.
Which ones are you best at or most excited about?
Which one? What?
Which ones do
are
you want the
excited
most?
about?
What ones I want?
Yeah. What do you enjoy playing?
Well, I do some obscure things that I tend to make a lot of mistakes on,
And nobody
so I don't
knows.
tend to play with other people. Um,
Excuse me.
so actually, here's one I like a lot. Well, I was in love with you before I knew it meant more than just wanting to be with you. I used to look for other girls that looked like you, but the laws of nature said forget it, son, or at least that's what somebody told me. I worried about it a little bit, but that's all. I once dreamt that you were Joan of Arc, and I was Don Quixote. And everywhere we went, the world was tinfoil. But I gave up dreaming and became a priest, and I put it right out of my system. I worried about it a little bit, but that's all. Now you used to play the guitar, we worked in a country band, hung out down on the riverbank on Sundays. Your brother was my closest friend, he drove a pickup truck. He used to bring me home sometimes from high school. Now I was 15 the very first time love broke completely inside me. We were young, we were learning about it together, and we had enough of what we thought we'd need, of those well-known secret fables. We worried about it a little bit, but that's all. I regret my life, I won't be long enough to make love to all the women that I'd like to, or least of all to live with the ones I've loved. And I never regretted a love affair, except for one, and that's all over. I worried about it a little bit, but that's all. Now you used to play the guitar, we worked in a country band, riverbank on Sundays. Your brother was my closest friend, he drove a pickup truck. He used to bring me home sometimes from high school. Now I heard your kids are fat and plenty, and I haven't seen your brother since away last Easter. And if every other girl in this whole wide world was just a little more like you, I'd worried about it a little bit. I'd worry about it a little bit. I'd worry about it a little bit, but that's all.
Apple or blueberry?
Blueberry and cherry.
Okay.
Do you want cherry? I can get one.
I'm not going to have one right now, or I'll be choking if I try to sing.
Okay.
But they're warm. I was trying to get a video, but I didn't get my stuff fast enough for when the pup was trying to attack your face. Maybe I can get it again, huh?
This is a song for anybody who would wear a kilt.
Anybody who what?
Anybody who would be wearing a kilt.
Ah,
This is from old Scottish legends. On the harbor and rain on the road, wet promise of winter brings recourse to cold. There's fire in the blood and a fog on the door. The giant will rise with the moon. 'Twas the same ancient fever in the Isles of the Blest that our fathers brought with them when they went west. It's the blood of the Druids that never will rest. The giant will rise with the moon. So crash the glass down with the tiny young friends, and old whiskey are burning inside. Crash the glass down, Fingal will rise with the moon.
Must be thirsty.
Clement weather, the people are fey. 3,000-year stories as the night slips away. Remembering Fingal feels not far away. The giant will rise with the moon. In the north there'll be a new moon tonight, and we have no circle to dance in its sight. So light a torch, bring the bottle, and build the fire bright. The giant will rise with the moon. So crash the glass down, move with the tide, young friend, and old whiskey are burning inside. Crash the glass down, Fingal will rise with the moon. On the harbor and rain on the road, wet promise of winter brings recourse to cold. There's fire in the blood and the fog on the door. The giant will rise with the moon. So crash the glass down with the tide, young friends and old whiskey are burning inside. Crash the glass down, Fingal will rise with the moon.
Thank
Anyway.
you.
Take the dog out.
When you live the entirety of without my dream.
That's your
This is my book.
I don't remember what the story of Fingal was about, but
You basically left it for the dog.
What about the rise of the Fitzgerald? Is that it?
Oh.
no, I don't do that one.
We used to.
Oh, you, Mary Ellen Carter? Is that what you're thinking about?
Yeah.
The boat that would rise again.
Yeah, The Rise Again is Mary Ellen Carter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do that one, then and that'll be it.
Okay.
Magic tools.
Do you know they have a cruise now of the Great Lakes?
And it stops by the lake. There's multiple boats.
Yeah, they have cruise ships, really nice ones. Supposedly, they do a series of them on the lakes.
Wouldn't exactly be tropical.
No, you wouldn't want to go in the winter.
Yeah, you might be walking.
Then they need the ice cruisers.
Ice busters. Who you gonna call?
Ice cruisers, please.
Really?
Ice rivers.
This is that music and don't.
Adrian's going to sit outside.
Adrian
Took the pump out.
Oh, he didn't just do that. He's playing it outside.
Usually when I'm done with this song, I can't sing anymore anyway.
Uh-huh.
It was Dad's favorite song. Well, she went down last October in a pouring where he'd been drinking, the maid felt no pain. Too close to 3 Mile Rock, but she was dealt a mortal blow. Then the Mary Ellen Carter said hello. There was Justice 5 aboard her when she finally was awash. They worked like hell to save her, all heedless of the cost. And with the groan she made as she went down, it caused us to proclaim the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Lady on the road, or off not a neck over they spend. She gave 20 years of service, boys, and met a sorry end. Insurance paid the loss to us and let her rest below. Then they laughed at us and said we had to go. We talked to her all winter, some days around the clock. She's worth $250,000 floating at the dock. And we'll save each other tip our waist, for we would remain and make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. I can't do it.
I think you need a beer or something.
Sorry.
No, I needed to drink something before I even started, and I didn't do it.
Uh-oh. Take your
Oh.
coat off.
I thought you were just being, itsy bitsy spider up my.
No, I was gonna take your bug off so it doesn't get dragged around if I can.
I'm just gonna walk and go find some water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Here, hand me the recorder when the shirt's stopped.
What's the recording thing about?
Colin asked that we record it.
What for? Because he's always trying to get me in trouble.
I don't think he said anything.
I think it was at Ryan's request. So he's getting in trouble.
Ryan's getting me in trouble.
And I notice we have a bunch of B-roll now too. Between her and Ryan.
Yep. Okay, how do I stop this thing?
Yeah.
How do you know you started it?
Because it's counting up.
Okay, that helps.
to do, but not all that much for me. That voice feels wrong.
So do you feel like Joe Biden on a debate night?
Hopefully it wasn't that bad.
Well, most of it was pretty good.
That dog enjoys a good milk. Don't.
I could picture Grandma and Grandpa being here.
But
Or your mom and dad.